Settings are alpha 7, counter 2. You're going to H2. You'll confirm the socket tape line flush. These H2, approximately 19 turns.
Okay, copy that. Driving.
Cassidy now using that cordless power drill, the PGT pistol grip tool, undoing one of the bolts containing the lithium-ion battery, the new lithium-ion battery, from the proper slot on the external pallet. He'll be removing that and handing it off to Behnken, who's situated on the truss segment of the International Space Station. He attached something called a scoop. This is simply a handling aid. Once the battery is removed, he can easily maneuver the battery that exceeds 400 pounds over to Behnken, who is situated again on the truss.
Indicators in unlocked.
Copy. You can stow the PGT back on your swing arm and remove the battery when ready.
Copy that. All set, Bob? I am all set. GT stowed. Hands on the battery.
Copy. And as you hand this off to Bob, you're looking to hand him the H2 scoop with a red swap.
Copy H2. Now rotating, Bob. Back.
H2 refers to a specific bolt on the lithium-ion battery, so Behnken knows which end to grab. The RET being referred to as a retractable equipment tether, just making sure that the battery is secured at all times.
I've got the battery. You've got the battery. I'm reaching my RET. A funny RET angle. Okay, RET's off. I've got the battery. And I'm ready to start, course. Okay, coming out. Remind me with that safety tether stuff, is mine going in front of the APFR or behind? Your safety tether is going in front of the APFR right now. Copy, thanks. I might have to pass it over the top of it. Yeah. You're right up on top of your anchor point. It's difficult sometimes to...
Yeah, it's almost like that. Should be one handrail
Yeah,
over.
it should be one handrail over. All right. Almost organized here.
Chris, you can move that green hook if you'd like.
This box. You know what? I'm gonna do that. Have you got a second?
I do, yep.
Cassidy now out of the foot restraint. He'll reconfigure his tethers here, making sure they're both in a good position. Behnken and Cassidy will guide the lithium-ion battery over to its new home on the integrated electronics assembly of the starboard truss. There's a new foot restraint over there waiting for them, configured to the proper settings. And from there, they'll be able to get into a position where the new battery can be installed on the truss.
Ready? I have control.
And I'm going to need a minute to clear up my BRT and
No problem.
you have control of the battery.
I do. I'm in a good spot.
I have the battery.
You have the battery.
A little bit tricky to get past the pallet here.
Yeah, just kind of keeping it on that side.
Yeah.
I have control of the battery.
You have control of the battery.
Communication is the key here, as Cassidy and Behnken work together to move the more than 400-pound battery over to the integrated electronics assembly. From here, it'll be installed to store power from the station's solar arrays. Bob Behnken will be the one to ingress or enter the foot restraint, get into position, and he'll grab the cordless power drill and secure it to the integrated electronics assembly.
This steppy one is... Yeah, I have control of the battery.
You have control of the battery. Did you make it all the way to the T intersection?
I did.
You have control of the battery.
Okay, you have control of the battery.
You see the fins in the blind mates?
Yep.
You want to just knock that out right now? You can, pins look straight, blind mates look clarified, good EMI band. Copy.
Copy the checks on the battery.
You want to get in? I think you probably need to get a little closer. Yeah, I'll go to the 32. Yeah, sounds good. I've got the battery. You've got the battery. Let's see. Think I can keep. Should I put my anchor hand on this one there as well, you think? Or is that going to scrunch you up too much? I think it's going to scrunch us up too much. Yeah, I think so too. All right. I have control of the battery. Okay. Can you get a tether on it? I sure can. And you've got control back? I've got control. Tether in place. Okay. You have control. I'm going to release my tether. Copy that.
Okay, Bob, before you get an APFR, if you can just make sure the gap spanner is clear of slot 6 for the install.
The gap spanner is clear of slot 6.
Copy.
On the right. And on the left.
Okay, Bob, if you can check the ingress aids tucked and tethers are clear, we'll take an inspection on the IA bolts, interfaces, and blind mate connectors.
Okay. On the IEA side, the ingress aid is tucked. You can verify the pins are clear. There's no fob. Good EMI band, and the pins look straight and clear as well.
Copy. With that, when you're ready, Chris, you can transfer the battery to Bob, looking for H2 outboard.
Okay, copy. I'm ready for the battery, Chris. Okay. Control when you're ready. I got control of the battery. You have control. I have the ret.
You lock your red out a little bit.
Okay, once it's soft dock, Chris, you can transfer your PGT with the 6-inch.
And Jaws, in order to accomplish this driving of H2, I'm going to roll back to my left a click or so.
Copy, Bob.
I've got the PGT. You got it.
Settings are alpha 7, clockwise 2.
Alpha 7, clockwise 2. Ready to drive volts, how many turns?
Okay, you'll confirm socket tape lines flush to H2, looking for 16 to 17 turns.
Line is flush, 16 to 17 turns, copy. Indicator's moving. The battery's driving to me, huh, Chris?
Yep, absolutely. Looking nice and smooth.
Green light, 9.4, 16 turns.
Copy, and status indicator?
Status indicator is locked.
Copy, same settings, alpha 7, clockwise 2. You'll confirm socket tape lines flush to H1, looking for 4 to 5.5 turns.
Okay, and we're going to have Chris drive H1.
4 to 5.5 turns.
Tape lines flush.
Okay, fills in there, confirmed, you got it. And here we go.
Indicator's moving.
Lithium-ion battery secured by one bolt to the integrated electronics assembly. Cassidy taking control of the cordless power drill to secure that final bolt.
9.2 foot-pounds.
Indicator shows locked.
Copy, and Chris, you can stow that PGT back on your swing arm, and Bob, you can release the ret.
Okay, Chris has the ret.
Is that scoop going anywhere?
I think just to clean up.
I'll move it up to the bag. No sense in having a red on it. And
Yeah, Chris, if you're asking about the scoop, it just goes back to the bag for setup for 3 Bravo.
okay. Yeah.
And I will egress and start working on moving the APFR.
Copy, and before that, we'll take a glove, hap, and gauntlet check from both of you.
Dry gauntlets in place and gloves. I'm going to leave you one.
My hap is dry, my gauntlets are up, and no change for my gloves.
Copy, Bob. And as you said, you'll be moving that APFR over to width 18. Clocking is 12.
And let's see, should I go up the side here or go around? I think right up. You can just go right up the side.
Hand over in 2 seconds.
Less than an hour into today's spacewalk, and the lithium-ion battery has been installed onto the integrated electronics assembly. leading the teams here in Mission Control Houston. Flight Director Royce Renfrew, you see at the forward end of your screen. The voice you're hearing from Mission Control to Chris Cassidy and Bob Behnken, our two spacewalkers today. Jasmine Mogbelli, call sign Jaws, off to the left of your screen there, and Jackie Kagi in the back, the spacewalk officer, leading the teams here through the procedures and working with her teams in the back rooms as we are already a little bit ahead of the timeline. Got out the door a little bit earlier than expected today. And Cassidy and Behnken looking good on consumables aspect as well. Their next task will be the swap of an old nickel-hydrogèn battery that is on the integrated electronics assembly with the final adapter plate that's on the pallet. That adapter plate is needed for the final configuration of the lithium-ion battery that they just installed.
Limiting consumable is MEDOX on Chris at 6:40. You're approximately 10 minutes ahead on the timeline, and just for your essay, both your met rigs are looking really good today.
Okay, copy. And the scoop I had is now in the TrueLock bag.
Copy. And that was the H1 scoop, correct, on battery 6?
And read it to
The inboard one, which H1, yes.
I agree, H1.
Copy.
I'm ready to the APFR, Jasmine.
Okay, copy, Bob. And clocking of 12 and with 18.
Copy, clocking of 12 and with 18. Clocking of 12 is set. Twist test, good pull test on the APFR. Quebec is set on the pitch. And the pitch knob is popped out.
Copy. Remaining settings are Fox 12.
Copy. Foxtrot 12 is set.
Copy, Foxtrot 12. And Bob, can you just... Go ahead, Chris.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to ask Bob, can you confirm the locking collars black on black?
Sorry to interrupt.
That's black on black.
Copy, and copy that, Chris. Okay, Bob, with that, you can check the gap spanners clear of the battery and ingress to APFR. And Chris, you can retrieve the ratchet wrench and position yourself on the radiator inboard corner, and over to you if you want to go outboard and up and over, or just straight up on the inboard side.
I'm going to pause here, Chris, and wait for you to go where you're going to go, just so that I don't trap your safety tether underneath me.
Yeah, I think I need to be around.
I can pause here if you want to ratchet wrench those free.
Yeah, let me do that. All right, I'm on H1, Jasmine, with the ratchet wrench.
Copy. If you can get, can you read the serial number?
Bob, get that?
Yep, A firm.
I'll get it when I break H2.
Okay, and for H1, confirm socket tape lines flush and brake torque less than 1 turn.
Socket tape line flush.
Cassidy and Behnken setting up to remove an old nickel-hydrogen battery from the station's truss. You see from the helmet camera view of Cassidy here, he's breaking torque on those bolts.
And Chris, are you also in a position for H2, or is Bob going to get that?
I am. I'm just going to put it back. Okay. Wasn't sure if I slipped off the bolt, but it was actually the torque braking, not the bolt slipping. Which one? Okay. Moving to H2. Serial number is 0089.
Copy. Good serial number.
Again, two bolts securing the nickel-hydrogen battery to the station's truss. One torque is broken, heading over to the other bolt to break that torque. It'll be Bob Behnken entering the portable foot restraint, getting into a good angle to use the cordless power drill, the PGT, to remove the old nickel-hydrogen battery from the station's truss. They'll then guide it back over to the pallet for disposal and to swap it with the position of an adapter plate that they'll bring into this slot.
PGT for Bob.
Okay, Bob, I'm going to slide down this side and then go. Okay. Going forward. I'm going to not forget my waist tether.
That's kind of self-teaching. Obviously.
Okay, feet coming first, Bob. Let me know if
you're clear.
Yeah.
Watch yourself. You've got the ingress aid to your BRT again.
Go. Okay. Go. I have bumped the pedal.
The pedals are good. I was holding it.
Okay. Okay. One. Okay, outboard of your feet, you can go ahead and get in.
As Behnken and Cassidy get into position to remove this nickel-hydrogen battery, the station is flying 270 statute miles over the South Indian Ocean, entering into an orbital nighttime. You'll start to see the views from their helmet cameras get just a little bit darker.
What do you think of those guys? CDUs.
Have a look at my lean back. I think it's doable.
Yeah.
But you're going to have to come up high.
Yeah, I'll scoot up.
And Bob, once you're in, if you can check your ingress aids tucked, tethers are clear, and then you'll attach a ret to the H1 scoop.
Copy. Ingress aid is tucked. I've got a ret to the H1 scoop.
Copy. And PGT settings are alpha 7, counter 2.
Alpha 7, counter 2.
You'll be going to H1, confirm socket tape lines flush, looking for 8 turns to release the battery.
The H1 for 8 turns.
Looks flush.
Here we go. Indicator's moving. There's 8 turns. The indicator indicates unlocked.
Copy. Same settings, Alpha 7, counter 2 for H2. Confirm the socket tape line's flush, looking for 19 turns.
The socket tape line is flush. Understand 19 turns.
Affirm.
Battery's moving.
I agree.
Indicator's moving.
It's coming out nicely. Okay.
Released.
You hold the battery, I'll get the PGT.
Okay, you got the PGT.
Yeah. Seems like 3 hops of the bolt.
Yep.
Is kind of standard.
And Bob,
PGT is stored. I'm going to go back around.
copy. Bob, could you say the turns on that?
It was about 8. I just turned it to the full 17 turns, and it clicked about 3 times.
Copy.
You know, the indicator, I could feel it.
And you are about to go into a night pass for your essay.
That's in your feet.
As the station moves into an orbital nighttime, that nickel-hydrogen battery is removed.
Hand off H2 to Chris, and we've got a handover in about 30 seconds.
Okay, Bob, I'm in position.
Copy.
Do a complete flip. Nice work. A little bit.
Now in another handover, again, we will periodically lose video and audio from station incrementally throughout today's spacewalk as the station orbits the Earth at 17,500 miles per hour. We're handing off to the geosynchronous satellites that are stationed around the Earth at 23,000 miles away. Jasmine Mogbelli on the left here, call sign Jaws. You're hearing her voice to Chris Cassidy and Bob Behnken. Now outside the space station with the nickel-hydrogen battery removed, the final nickel-hydrogen battery to be removed from the station's truss.
On the other side, there we go.
Okay, I have control of the battery.
I have control back, and I'm in a good spot below your feet now. Okay.
They're handing the battery off to one another. We'll gently guide it over to the external pallet. There, they'll perform a swap. There's an adapter plate in a slot. They'll swap the adapter plate with the nickel-hydrogen battery, install the nickel-hydrogen battery to the external pallet for disposal, and bring the adapter plate to where the nickel-hydrogen battery once was. That adapter plate completes the configuration of the lithium-ion battery to the station's truss.
You should actually go outboard a little bit.
And that will be the final task for the battery swaps, and will complete the 1B channel.
Oh, okay.
Right, when I think I had you lock out your rat, you could unlock it if you want, but I've got control of the battery.
You have control. I'm in a good spot. If you want to go, I have control in the red. You want to go all the way to the rail?
Okay, you have control. I'll go all the way to the rail.
Forward one more handrail.
I have control of the battery.
Okay, you have control of the battery. I have control of the battery.
Okay, you have control of the battery. I have control of the battery.
You have control of the battery. I have control of the battery.
You have control of the battery. Hard to find something good to hold on to there.
Yeah, weird spot.
Yeah, I have control of the battery.
You have control. Control the battery.
You have control of the battery. I have control of the battery.
You have control of the battery. I have control of the battery.
You have control of the battery.
Can you reach without any hassle to flip the GoPro and point it towards the pallet, or no?
No.
Only if it's easy.
A little bit of a move, but
Yeah.
I have control of the battery.
Right? You have control of the battery. I have control of the battery.
Okay, you have control of the battery.
The pallet pretty close.
I have control of the battery.
You have control of the battery. I just passed your BRT spot. You want to leave it up here towards the MLI?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Is that?
Yeah, I agree. All right, let me get my hand. Good spot. Okay, I have control of the battery.
You have control of the battery.
That MLI multi-layer insulation, Cassidy and Behnken just working on maneuvering the battery, and communication is key here, especially in an orbital nighttime as they guide it to its new home on the external pallet for disposal.
I've got control of the battery.
All right, your ret time.
Yep.
Still have control.
Okay, I have a ret, and I have control.
Okay.
And Chris, you are go to ingress the APFR.
Copy, go to ingress the APFR. About here I go.
Okay.
And Chris, for this one, once you're in, check access to tools in addition to the ingress aid tucked and tethers clear.
Access to tools in addition to the ingress aid. Copy that. Okay. Fuel spill in, ingress aid is tucked. I can get the tools.
Okay, copy, Chris. With that, once you're ready, Bob, you'll be handing H2 off to Chris, and Chris, you're going to want your BRT ret on the battery tether point.
Copy. I just can't reach the battery tether point. I'll fix it later. I am ready, Bob.
Okay.
I have control.
Okay, you have control of the battery. I'll release my ret. Okay. My ret has been released.
Okay, copy that.
And Chris, you'll want the H2 scoop in your BRT.
Okay. Okay, the ret config is, as you suggested, BRT ret on the middle.
Copy.
BRT tabs are out.
Copy. Once you've got that stowed out of the way, you'll attach a ret to the adapter plate heater mat tether point.
Ready?
Copy. You can retrieve the ratchet wrench with the hex driver, and you'll be going to H1 first.
Ratchet, hex, H1.
You're looking for a one-line flush.
One line is flush.
Okay, you can break torque.
It's broken.
Copy. H2, same thing. Confirm one-line flush.
One line flush, torque broken.
Copy. You can tend the ratchet wrench back to the ORU bag and then retrieve the PGT with the hex driver.
PGT with the hex driver.
Okay, settings are Alpha 7, counter 2.
Alpha 7, counterclockwise 2 is set. Motor.
Copy. You'll be going to H1, confirm one line flush, looking to release approximately 8 turns.
One line flush, 8 turns. Here we go.
For those just tuning in, Chris Cassidy is in the portable foot restraint right in front of the adapter plate. He's broken torque on that adapter plate and now unbolting it from the external pallet. Bob Behnken is standing by with the old nickel-hydrogene battery that's going to take its place in that same slot. First, they need to remove this adapter plate, though. Cassidy working on the first of 2 bolts.
Counter 2 for H2, looking for one line flush again.
Alpha 7, counter 2. One line is flush.
Looking to release approximately 19 turns.
Copy 19. 4 for 19. Eighteen. 19 turns. It's definitely 3.
Okay,
Ready?
you can power that PGT off to the left and then tend it back to the ORU bag.
GT is off. End it back. Comes the Nerf football.
Copy, and as you hand this off, Bob, you're going to put your BRT ret to the adapter plate handrail tether point.
I can't see, Bob, if I've got the right side. I think it's the right side.
Yep, I've got the correct side now.
Okay. Yeah, I've got a ret to it. And I've got it on my BRT. Okay. Agree with my ret coming off?
I agree with your ret coming off.
It's all yours.
Okay.
Okay, Bob, once you've got that stowed on your BRT, you can head back towards the IEA. Chris, for you, make sure your ingress aid's tucked, and then you can retrieve that battery from your BRT. You want H2 in your left hand.
Ingress aid tucked. H2 left hand. Copy that.
This is Mission Control Houston. For those just tuning in, Cassidy and Behnken have successfully performed the swap. The old nickel-hydrogen battery is in the hands of Chris Cassidy, now working to install it onto the external pallet for disposal. In the meantime, Bob Behnken has the adapter plate. He's going to attach it to his body restraint tether and guide it over to the integrated electronics assembly. The installation of that adapter plate will be the final step here for the upgrades to the 1B channel.
7 clockwise 2.
In the meantime, Cassidy working on that pistol grip tool, the cordless power drill, bolting that old nickel hydrogen into place.
Line flush, looking for 16 to 17 turns.
Copy that. Socket tape line flush. Everything looks lined up. Driving. Indicators moving. 2 turns for 19. Fixed. indicator moving, battery going in, everything feels smooth, very low running torque.
Copy.
10 turns. And a half turns, 9.1 foot-pounds. The indicator is all the way in the lock position. The battery hooks in.
Copy, and green light.
Green torquing light, sorry about that.
Okay, Chris, with that, you can release the ret and stow that PGT back on your swing arm, and you'll retrieve the scoops and stow them on your mini workstation.
We have a good installation of that nickel-hydrogen battery to the external pallet. Cassidy now removing those scoops, those handling aids. He'll take care of those as Bob Behnken continues to make his way with the adapter plate towards the integrated electronics assembly for its installation onto the truss.
APFR.
Copy.
And Cassidy working on those steps to clean up his work site over at the external pallet.
Yeah, gap spanner is cleared of the slot 5.
Copy.
And I will have access to the PGT.
Okay, with that, you can ingress the APFR, check the ingress aids tucked and tethers are clear, and then we'll take an inspection of the IAA bolt interfaces and blind mate connectors.
Copy.
I have both scoops, and I'm ready to translate battery echo, I believe.
That's correct, battery echo. And Chris, both of those are going to go at the 3 o'clock, which is handrails away from the EP wheels.
From the EP wheels, okay. I'm on the pallet.
Copy.
You're clear, brakes are on. Yep. Copy.
Okay, guys, on the pallet side, looks like a good EMI band and no fault in the connectors. I will have to retrieve the adapter plate and then give you an inspection of that.
Good words, Bob.
And on the adapter plate, good EMI band pins are clear on the pallet side.
Copy, Bob. And do you want the adapter plate blind mate connectors oriented station outboard, and then you can soft dock?
Copy, station outboard.
H1 and H2 are installed. Lifted away from the EP wheels, 3 o'clock.
Copy, Chris. With that, you can head to the ORU bag and stow the PGT and ratchet wrench in there. and you're going to be taking it with you onto structure.
Roger.
This is a view from the helmet camera of Chris Cassidy, continuing to clean up his work site over at the external pallet. He just finished up the installation of the old níquel-hydrogênio battery. One more step to complete. That's over at Bob Behnken's workstation.
The PGT with hex driver settings are alpha 7, clockwise 2.
Copy, alpha 7, clockwise 2. The adapter plate is soft docked.
Copy. And with that, you'll be going to H2 and confirm one line flush.
Copy.
Behnken already on that last step. You heard that confirmation that the adapter plate is soft docked. Now he just needs to install it using that cordless power drill. There's 2 bolts to secure it to the truss. He'll do 1 bolt at a time here.
Okay, both ratchet and PGT are in the bag.
Okay. One line flush on H2.
Copy, Chris. And Bob, you're looking for 16 to 17 turns.
Copy, 16 to 17 turns.
Chris, for you, you'll take that bag with you onto structure.
Roger. The bag, new structure. Everything given another once over. Nothing remaining, no scoops, except for the ones on E that are supposed to be there.
Copy.
Coming on. You can
16 turns, 9.5 on the torque and a green light.
Copy, Bob. That you get same settings, alpha 7, clockwise 2 for H1.
Copy.
And for H1, looking for 2 lines visible, one of them flush.
2 lines visible, one of them flush. And say again the number of turns.
4.5 to 5.5.
Copy.
Okay, Jasmine, I'm ready to drop the bag.
Okay, Chris, you're looking to stow that. Recommend handrail 2003 or given location, and you'll also make sure the ingress aid is stowed towards the boot plate and tethers are clear to prepare for the EP translation.
Okay, copy all. It's all in work.
H1 was 4.5 turns, 9.0 and a green light.
Copies, Bob. Good install. You can release the RET, egress the APFR, and tend that PGT back towards the crew lock bag, and then we'll be working TA clamps.
And with that, Behnken successfully installed the adapter plate to the truss segment.
Is on 2003.
Copy, Chris.
Cassidy's just working on stowing some of his equipment over on the external pallet. Behnken's next task is to use some connectors to make sure everything is, the power is connected, the adapter plate and the lithium-ion battery. and get that new lithium-ion battery configured to start storing power from the station's solar arrays on the starboard truss.
Get out of the way for Doug.
Chris, you can once you've got the ingress aid stowed and your tethers are clear and you're 5 feet clear, I'd head back towards the IEA to take closeout photos. And you can, once you're 5 feet clear, give Doug the go to the back off position.
All right. Copy. Ingress aid is against the boot plate and in the shortest position. I don't know what you call it. Retracted.
Copy.
Okay, Colonel Hurley, I am 5 feet away, more than that. ACFR is clear, tethers are clear, we're clear. You have a go to move.
Copy, Captain Cassidy. We'll move the EP to the side 2 back off position.
That's your feet, Bob.
Yeah, my feet, copy.
And Chris, sounds like you're back at the IAA. We'll take a glove, hat, and gauntlet check.
Top dry. Gauntlets in place, gloves good.
Copy, Chris. And Chris, you can either help Bob with the TA clamps and adapter plate connectors, and then after that, we're going to be working on closeout photos.
Closeout photos. Copy that. I'll make my way to the camera, Bob. Copy. Now, Jasmine, which free battery, the entire face of the IEA, is that the general concept for the pictures?
The entire face, Chris.
Yep, copy. Much longer till daylight, Jasmine?
Approximately 3.5 minutes till daylight.
Maybe I'll hold off on the pictures.
Yeah, Chris, if you actually, if that PGT with the hex driver is by the crew lock bag, if you want to stow the hex driver on the pit pin red in the crew lock bag, in the meantime, now would be a good time to do that.
Okay. Perfect time. Ready for it? Yep. Thank you.
A lot of progress made so far during today's spacewalk. Just an hour and 43 minutes in, the adapter plate and the new lithium-ion battery are installed onto the International Space Station's truss. Bob Behnken just working on making some of those final connections. Cassidy has already cleaned up his work site at the external pallet. Doug Hurley on the inside of the station is working the station's robotic arm and actually maneuvering that pallet away from the work site, no longer needed for the rest of today's spacewalk. Some cleanup activities for this 1B channel, and of course the connections need to be made to finalize the upgrades to that 1B channel. 3 new lithium-ion batteries with adapter plates installed.
And that PGT is eventually going to go back on Bob's swing arm once he's done with the adapter plate connectors.
Again, an hour and 44 minutes into today's spacewalk. already making good progress and nearing completion of the 1B channel.
You can get this gap spanner on this side.
Yep, you can go ahead and work the gap spanners.
Okay, good EMI band and pins, and on both sides, cable and the jack are both clear FOD.
Copy. Your go to mate P4 to J4. And just make sure that gap spanner is clear and board away.
Copy. The gap spanner is well clear.
Copy.
Okay, P4 to J4 is mated.
Copy, Bob. And levers over center. You can then connect that connector cap back onto J4, and the 3 TA clamps will need to be closed on this one.
Okay, copy. Okay, all 3 TA clamps are closed.
Copy, Bob. And Bob, did you already install that connector cap on J4?
Not yet.
Copy.
I'm right there at the location now. Okay, the connector cap is on J4.
Copy, Bob. With that, you can head back to the crew lock bag to retrieve your PGT. And you're going to stow that on your swing arm, and just please let us know what tethers are on it.
And Chris, can you have a look at my safety tether?
Oh, yeah, let's see. So I'm over the top of you. It's clear from your feet, from your hip, and then, okay, so I might need to go inboard to you with you to deconflict.
See, what I'm going to do is just rotate this way, come in here, and let's So you've collected that gap spanner?
Yeah, I got the gap spanner.
Okay. I might as well
Why don't I just get on the inboard side of you?
Okay.
Now's a good time for me to do that. If you agree.
Seems okay to me.
Okay. And that'll deconflict.
I'll collect the scoops off of the ECU here.
Okay.
Copy.
There we go, Bubba. Deconflicted.
Okay.
So, didn't get any pictures yet.
Okay. Sun is up though. That's good.
Yeah.
And Chris, when you do take those photos, if you can get pictures of those bumper guides as well that you guys think the black smudging might be coming from, that would be helpful.
Okay. Let's see. Any way you can rotate your feet a little bit this way?
Inboard or outboard?
Yeah. Outboard. That way.
Okay.
Yep. Thanks. All right. No problem. And trying to figure out where's a good place for me to come up.
I'm about to have these scoops.
And then you'll move left?
And then I'll be going to the crew lock bag.
Okay. I'll just hang out right here. Jasmine, I'm going to pick up the GoPro.
Say again, Chris?
I'm going to pick up the GoPro camera.
Okay, copy.
This is Mission Control Houston. 1 hour, 53 minutes into today's spacewalk. Bob Behnken and Chris Cassidy are just wrapping up their work on the 1B power channel, successfully installing the new lithium-ion battery and the new adapter plate and removing a nickel-hydrogênio battery and making all the necessary connections. Now just working on some closeout procedures, gathering all of their handling aids and cordless power drills and all of the other equipment that they used for these procedures, cleaning up and taking some photos of the work site, making sure everything went according to plan. The next item on the agenda is to continue to clean up this work site, and they'll actually get a jump start on the 3B power channel. They won't be swapping out some batteries quite yet. There's still some work from the ground to configure the batteries for removal and to start that channel. But they'll install some of the handling aids that you see in the view right now from the helmet camera of Bob Behnken. They'll break some torque on some of the batteries and just really get a jump start on some of the work that's coming up later this month to upgrade the final power channel of the International Space Station.
Hey, Jonathan, I've got the 2 scoops returned to the crew lock bag that were on the VCSU.
Copy, Bob.
Looks like there's one more down there.
A-firm, there should be one more on battery 6, H2.
I can get it. I'm right here.
And I believe there's still one more gap spinner deployed.
Correct.
Okay, I've retrieved my PGT, and I have 2 rets in series, as well as an adjustable tether on that PGT.
Copy, Bob. And Bob will take glove, hat, and gauntlet check on you.
This is Mission Control Houston. In another handover of some of that video and audio from station through the tracking and data relay satellites. This is a live view of the International Space Station Flight Control Room. The teams here leading Chris Cassidy and Bob Behnken through the procedures of the spacewalk today. Flight director there in the gray suit is Royce Renfrew, leading the Orbit 2 teams today. In the back right there, Jackie Kagi, the spacewalk officer, knowing those procedures backwards and forwards. And that voice you're hearing to the crew is Jasmine Mogbelli. It goes by call sign Jaws over there on the left of your screen.
Both of my gloves are still esteemed.
Copy. Okay, so remaining task is that inboard gap spanner chain, the scoop on battery 6H2, and then verifying that PVR pit pin engagement.
You can see the pit pin right here. Engaged.
Copy, engaged.
I'll get it when I leave.
And then, can I give you the gap spanner?
Yeah.
The first one?
One by one.
Okay.
Gotta find a ret in this bag.
So many that there's none.
Some of the tools you're seeing here from the helmet camera of Bob Behnken. He's working on putting away some of the equipment he used for the upgrades of the 1B channel. Some of them include scoops. These are those silver handling aids that you see sort of sticking out of the bag, as well as the jumbled cables. Those are called gap spanners. You can connect them across the integrated truss and make it a little bit easier to get from one side to the other, making translation or the movement from one side to the other a little bit easier. Floating there in the background is the, you can see that white box with a black circle that is the still photography, the DSLR camera that they use to take some of the closeout photos of their work site after they've completed the upgrades to the 1B channel. Again, Behnken and Cassidy cleaning up their work site, getting ready to go over to the 3B channel and get a head start on some of the tasks there.
6H2.
Yes, it's in the bag.
Copy. Yeah, A-firm, the only thing I have remaining is that remaining gap spanner, and then if you guys can just check we're clear of tools and tethers and take those closeout photos.
Does it make sense for me to collect this trash bag at this time?
Checking. Bob, you don't need it at this time. We were planning to get the one from the ORU bag prior to the H fixture.
Okay. Do I have to get anything else out of the ORU bag prior to H fixture?
Negative, just the contingency tools, Bob. So if you'd rather take that trash bag now, you can.
Okay. I've retrieved the trash bag. It's on my mini workstation.
Copy.
Going to pick up that gap spanner, Chris, or should I plan to get it here in a second?
If you can take the pictures on the outboard side, I can get this gap spanner. Does that work?
This is Mission Control Houston. As Cassidy and Behnken continue to gather their tools, clean up the work site of the 1B channel, we did get confirmation.
EVA limiting consumable is Medox on Chris at 6:45, and you're approximately 25 minutes ahead.
Okay.
To get the pictures, I have to leave the crew lock bag here, so maybe it's.
You want me to?
If you could just release the end of that, you just release the end of that.
I will.
Gap spanner, and then I'll take it.
Okay.
So as Cassidy and Behnken continue to clean up the work site, we did get confirmation that there is a good checkout of that final lithium-ion battery. The 1B channel on the starboard 6 truss is up and running, completed.
Outboard.
And so big picture for both of you. Once you finish that gap spanner and the closeout photos, Chris, you'll be heading back to the ORU bag with the camera and GoPro, and we'll take an inventory. And then, Bob, you'll be taking that crew lock bag and bundling it to the APFR.
Okay. Comes the. And you ready for me to release this end?
I am ready for you to release that end.
And go. The camera's up there by you, right?
It is, yeah.
Okay. Coming your way. All right, ready for the camera. I have it. Ready, you can release the rest.
Okay. You have the camera.
I have the camera. And I have both cameras. Now, half of the IEA with GoPro, and I'll start the digital camera survey right now.
Copy, Chris.
Okay, Jasmine, I've got inventory for the Kulak bag. I've got a ret to a gap spanner chain with a wire tie. A second ret to a gap spanner chain with a wire tie. Adjustable, an integral ret with 2 scoops. I've got a additional ret with a gap spanner chain and a wire tie that's integrated. I've got a ret with a pit pin with a 9-inch hex extension. Got a long duration tie-down tether with an integral ret. It is attached to the, not an integral ret, but it's to one of the D rings inside the Kulak bag. I've got a ratchet wrench with a palm wheel and a 6-inch wobble socket with 2 rets. Got an additional adjustable attached to one of the integral rets, and then another integral ret attached to an adjustable, and that one has 2 scoops on it. That's the interior contents.
Good config for the inside of the Kulak bag.
I'm having the same issue with the button, Jasmine. I can't tell if I'm actually getting pictures, but I have confirmed that every 30 seconds the green light comes on.
Copy, Chris.
Again, Behnken and Cassidy continue to clean up the 1B worksite. The 1B channel is outfitted with 3 new lithium-ion batteries, all up and running. 1B channel really complete at this point. From the rest of the spacewalk on will be a lot of prep work for future spacewalks, including getting a little bit of work done ahead of time before the work on the 3B channel on the other side of the S6 truss, as well as a lot of get-aheads that have been on the to-do list.
Copy, Chris. We'll take the GoPro photos.
While they're continuing to clean up their work site, we'll take a few questions using the hashtag AskNASA. Please ask away throughout the duration of today's spacewalk. This first one comes from Francisco, asking how long the spacewalk will take overall. The majority of the tasks have already been completed for the upgrades to the 1B channel. Again, fully up and running. A lot of get-ahead tasks. Spacewalks are usually scheduled for about 6.5 hours, really scheduled around the time for limiting consumables such as carbon dioxide scrubbing. So ballpark will be around that time frame. Another question from Steven, who's asking what happens to the old nickel-hydrogen battery. That old nickel-hydrogen battery is on the external pallet. We still need to complete the 3B channel. A lot of the old batteries from that side will go also onto the external pallet. That external pallet for HTV-9 will eventually be jettisoned from the space station to eventually burn up in the atmosphere. The HTV-8 pallet will be returned by the HTV-9 vehicle for disposal in the atmosphere.
Going outboard or inboard?
I'm going to go down, trying to get the few pictures.
Yeah, just the battery 1, 2 area. A lot of stuff in that bag.
Yeah. I'm finally ready to get out of your way.
No problem.
And Bob, when you get a chance, we've lost your WVS. If you can check the button.
If it's okay, I'll check it at the APFR. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Okay. Hey, Jaws, I think there's a green light. It's hard to see in the sunlight.
Hey, Firm, we've got your WVS back. Thanks, Bob.
I think it was on. I just cycled it. I don't know.
Copy.
In the background, you can see Chris Cassidy with camera in hand as Behnken continues some of the cleanup work on the 1B channel. Again, the 1B channel fully outfitted with 3 new lithium-ion batteries up and running. Behnken and Cassidy completed the work for that channel. Now the rest of the spacewalk will be dedicated to much of the get-ahead tasks that were originally scheduled between these 2 spacewalks.
With that, you can bring that camera with you. I believe you've already got the GoPro, and take those back to the ORU bag, stow them, and then we'll take an inventory of the ORU bag. And Chris, if you want to keep either the camera or GoPro on you by stowing them in the ORU bag, that's an option as well.
Okay, copy that.
Hey, Jaws, I've got the crew lock bag bundled to the APFR.
Bob, I'm going to shoot that gap between these.
Okay.
Copy, Bob. And with that, you can retrieve that APFR bundle, and you'll be translating to 3 Bravo. Let me know if you want the step-by-step directions.
Okay. Yeah, collect it up, and then I'll check with you about my routes.
Copy.
How are my feet? My feet are doing okay, Bob?
Yep, your feet are doing okay.
With that, the work at the 1B channel is complete. Cassidy and Behnken will now make their way to the other side of the S6 truss. You see Cassidy in the suit with the red stripes already making his way down.
I'm inboard of Bob, and I'm heading to the ORU bag.
Copy, Chris.
The wave.
Away from Behnken, 260 statute miles over the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. As Cassidy and Behnken continue to clean up here and move on to their next task at the 3B channel, get some of the work done ahead of time, breaking torque on some bolts and installing some handling aids in preparation for the work to be done later this month, continue to ask questions to us using the hashtag AskNASA. We have one from Micah who's asking, when changing batteries, what are some parts of the International Space Station that are turned off? As you can imagine, there are quite a few nearing the solar arrays. The solar arrays themselves are always angled towards the sun, but are turned off for this spacewalk. Also, the thrusters on the outside are disabled for the duration of the spacewalk.
Desmond, let me know when you're ready.
We are ready, Bob, as long as you're good for a pause and comms.
I am good for a pause and comm.
Okay, Chris, go ahead.
On the outside of the bag, there's a round scoop. Normal, small, adjustable, and a large, small, adjustable.
Copy, sounds good for the external config.
Going in. Inside of the bag, there's tip inlet and a regular ret on standby for the H fixture with nothing on them.
Copy.
There is a trash bag that has a ret and an adjustable.
Copy.
That's the extra adjustable. There is a ret connected to an adjustable tether that has two items, a tube puller and a pry bar.
Copy.
There's a ratchet wrench that has a palm wheel, a 9-inch 7/16 X driver, and two rets in series.
Copy.
A PGT with a 9-inch hex driver, adjustable on one side, and two rets in series on the other side.
Okay. Copy, and good battery on that?
There is a battery, and the position of the on-off switch is off.
Okay, Chris, that sounds like a good config, just other than the camera and GoPro that are on you.
All right, do that in a second.
And Bob, looks like you're on the go. You're headed to WIF 29 on the 3 Bravo side.
Copy with 29 on the 3 Bravo side.
The camera has a ret and an L bracket assembly. That's with me still.
Copy.
And the GoPro has a ret to a mutt end effector, and the L bracket assembly is connected to the mutt end effector.
Copy. And with that, Chris, you can retrieve the APFR, and you'll leave that ORU bag on 2003 where it's stowed.
Okay. Copy that. Beautiful view of the forward part of the space station.
A-firm, and Chris, you'll also be picking up your green hook.
Green hook APFR, leave the ORU bag on 2003. Copy all.
A-firm.
Where are you right now?
I'm on the 3B side.
Copy that.
From the helmet camera of Bob Behnken, you're getting a sneak peek at some of the work, or at least the work site, where Behnken and Cassidy will go out once again to complete this channel.
29.
I've arrived at with 29.
Copy, and the APFR will go in at a clocking of 12.
Right now, Behnken and Cassidy are just really doing a lot of as much work as they can ahead of time to minimize some of the prep work before they start swapping out batteries at the end of the month. Behnken has a portable foot restraint in tow. He'll insert it into that gold structure right there. And the two will work hand in hand to install some scoops or handling aids on some of the batteries, making them easier to pull out and hold, and as well as breaking some torque on some of the batteries that they will need to remove again later this month.
Hooked onto the red Urcum reel.
Copy.
And while I'm looking at it, both are in the unlocked position, and the yellow hook is still closed and locked.
Copy, Chris. Good config.
Looking on the APFR.
The APFR is installed 12 for the clocking, black on black, good pull test, and good twist test.
Copy, Bob. Looking for a pitch of Quebec, Quebec.
Okay, Quebec is set. And I'll take the rest of the APFR settings after I choose the crew lock back.
Copy. And can you confirm pitch knobs popped out?
Yeah, the pitch knob has popped out.
Copy.
Same stickiness felt on the release mechanism.
Copy, Chris. And Chris, you'll be translating to the 3 Bravo side, handrail 2021. Let me know if you want step-by-step.
I'm going just a little bit inboard and down that edge.
A-frame inboard to handrail 2003, and then the A-frame across.
Copy.
And Chris, at handrail 2015, you'll translate outboard, and you want to go over the FRGF to S6 with 6. And you want to route your tether clear of that FRGF pin and grapple shaft.
Am I going inboard of the A-frame or outboard?
Outboard.
Outboard. Copy.
take the APFR settings now, Jasmine.
Fox 12.
Foxtrot 12 is set.
Copy. And Bob, if you can just make sure the ingress aid is stowed. I see you've got your crew lock bag, and you can head to the radiator side.
Okay, the ingress aid is stowed.
Copy.
All right, Jasmine, I'm on the other side and looking for the directions again one more time.
Copy. So at handrail 2015, you can begin translating back outboard. You'll go over the FRGF to WIF 6, and you want to route your tether clear of the FRGF pin and grapple shaft. And ultimately, you're heading to handrail 2021, where you'll drop your green hook.
Deu uma caída aí, galera, no
We have a
FPS aqui,
handover in 15
mas acho que
seconds.
já voltou ao normal já, beleza? Desculpem aí, aqui tá... A internet deu uma caída braba aqui. O vento tá muito forte aqui, eu acho que deu um probleminha, mas já voltou ao normal já.
Once again, in a short handover of video and audio from the station. Again, we'll be regaining it very shortly. This is the International Space Station Flight Control Room. The Orbit 2 team here, led by Royce Renfrew, the flight director of Orbit 2, guiding our two spacewalking astronauts through some of the procedures of upgrading the 1B channel, which is now complete. The 1B channel outfitted with 3 new lithium-ion batteries, all up and running and ready to go. Cassidy and Behnken scheduled to upgrade this 1B channel over the course of 2 spacewalks. That work now complete, now getting a series of get-aheads done in preparation for some of the work later this month on the 3B channel. That'll be the last channel to upgrade with lithium-ion batteries aboard the International Space Station.
And back with you after the handover.
Copy.
And Chris, you should be coming up on handrail 2021.
Meu, pensa no visual que esse cara tá vendo pendurado ali, velho. Essa é a coisa mais linda do mundo, cara. Meu Deus do céu.
Bob, for you, looking to stow that crew lock bag on handrails 2050 and 2055.
2050 and 2055. See you there, Rick, coming over the top, or Chris coming over the top.
Yep.
And
2021.
so we can maybe look at and debrief whether there's a better translation path. I find that one pretty ugly.
Mine was too.
Copy for both of you.
All right, Jasmine, I'm looking at whip 6.
Okay, Chris, you'll drop your green hook at handrail 2021. And for the width, APFR will, yep, A-firm, clocking of 6.
Clocking of 6. 12 on the double line.
6 on the single line.
Copy that, 12 on the double line.
A-firm.
Okay, handrails 2055 and 2050. The crew lock bag.
Okay, Bob, you can retrieve the gap spanner change from the crew lock bag. We'll be deploying those.
Okay.
And Jasmine, I think you said the tether hook should go over the FRGF, right? Or under?
A-firm, over. Is it under?
I can put it wherever you want. There, it's over.
Yep, over. Thanks.
And green hook going to 2021.
A-firm.
It's taking me a while, Bob, to join you.
Oh, it's taking me a while as well.
Green hook is deposited on 2021.
Copy, Chris. And we get lock and collar, black on black, good pull twist test. And then I've got the remaining APFR settings.
I'm still tethered to it, and I see black on black. Full tug wiggle in all directions. Passes.
Copy. Remaining settings are India,
Golf,
India.
Golf, golf, 12.
Okay, you'll just need to change the pitch to India, India.
India, India.
And Chris and Bob, just for your essay, you guys are still ahead on the timeline overall.
Copy. Fox 12, right, Jasmine? India, India, Fox 12.
A-firm. And Chris, when you're able to just check that pitch knob popped out.
It's out.
Copy. Say again, Bob?
I think I'd like to put some scoops out to get some additional handrails over here.
Okay.
Could you give me the scoop locations?
A-firm, we have 2 going to battery 1. Let me know when you're ready for the clockings.
Battery 1. Okay, and the battery 1 should be to my top right, correct?
A-firm, the top right battery.
And it looks like the scoops point down.
A-firm, both H1 and H2 will be at 9 o'clock, which is straight down.
Installed on H2.
Copy.
That pitch knob is a little sticky as well. I just had to verify that it was out. It was popped out, but it's hard to tell.
Copy that, Chris. And Chris, you'll want the ingress aid stowed, and then you can head over to the 3 Bravo IAA.
Ingress aid is stowed, going to Bob.
Copy. And Chris, as you translate, you'll want to go over the Canon connector bank.
You mean with my tether?
From the helmet camera of Chris Cassidy, he just completed his work stowing a portable foot restraint. He is now working on translating or moving over to the 3B power channel work site. That's where Bob Behnken currently is. He's again getting some work done ahead of time, anything they can to limit the prep work needed for later this month. He's installing scoops or handling aids. Cassidy is on his way to join him and continue some of the prep work.
All right, I'm here. About how can I be helpful?
I think the next thing is gap spanners or scoops. And so we've got the battery 4, H1, I think she said.
Battery 4, H2.
Battery 4, H2.
And Chris, over to you if you want to work those scoops or start breaking torque. Or gap spanners.
I think gap spanners are kind of handy to have. When breaking torque, they might be handy too.
Okay, copy.
I'll take a gap spanner.
Okay, copy.
Okay. Here's one.
And Chris, for the inboard gap spanners, you're looking for handrail 2044 on the radiator side.
2044. There's radiator side gets the wire tie.
This is the helmet camera view from Bob Behnken, continuing to install some of those handling aids, just getting a little bit of prep work ahead of time for those spacewalks later this month. Cassidy is on his way to join Behnken at the 3B channel and continue some of that prep work. They're going to break some torque on some of the batteries and loosen them up before they need to remove them for some of the work later this month, replacing those older nickel-hydrogen batteries with newer lithium-ion.
Battery 4, H2 scoop is installed.
Copy. And next one's on the DCSU, H1 at 12 o'clock, and that's inboard or to the left.
Station about 270 statute miles over the South Indian Ocean, crossing into an orbital nighttime.
Chris?
I was tuned out.
Okay, well, the last scoop, we'll take a break on that one and we'll do it a little bit later.
Okay.
And Bob, for the outboard gap spanner, looking for handrail 2055 on the radiator side.
2055 on the radiator side.
A firm.
Behnken installing what's called a gap spanner. This is another translation aid, or it really just a rope you can see there from the helmet camera of Bob Behnken. It attaches to two ends of the integrated electronics assembly and makes moving from one end to the other just a little bit easier when they're doing some of the battery work.
Going in.
Wire tie end of the gap spanner chain going to 2055.
Affirm, Bob.
.045 is complete.
Copy, Chris. You can tension that gap spanner chain and do the 180-degree check for slack.
Copy. Going to put the GoPro down.
Copy.
GoPro is in battery 6 corner 2039.
Copy, handrail 2039. And Chris, if you're in a good position, you can grab that final scoop that's going to DCSU H1.
DCSU H1.
Affirm.
Which direction?
It'll be 12 o'clock or to your left inboard.
Okay, that's in place and locked.
Copy, Chris.
On to start braking.
Okay, and I've got a note for you. If a scoop is present on an H bolt, check that socket tape line is flush with scoop before braking or resetting torque. How copy?
Copy all.
And Chris, could you release there's a ret with this gap spanner chain coming back to the crew lock bag?
Guy right here?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And hand over in 5 seconds.
Another handover of video and audio from station should be regaining that shortly. This is a live view from the inside of the International Space Station Flight Control Room. Flight Director Royce Renfrew there in the gray suit leading the Orbit 2 teams through today's spacewalk. In the back row there on the right, Jackie Kagi is the spacewalk officer here in the room, knowing those procedures backwards and forwards. The voice you're hearing from here in Mission Control Houston to our 2 spacewalking astronauts is Jasmine Mogbelli over there on the left. She is the ground IV, communicating with the crew and following along on the procedures. Cassidy and Behnken completed the installation of the final battery to the 1B channel. That battery was activated, checked out, and now we have 3 good lithium-ion batteries on the 1B channel.
Gap spanner, the outboard gap spanner is complete.
Correct.
now working on some of the prep work and get-aheads that will make the next spacewalk a little bit easier, and tackling a lot of those to-do items.
Check is a good one to consider. We're not able to tension the gap spanners tight enough that you can't do several more turns than 180 degrees.
I concur.
Okay, copy. And with that, everything's set on 3 Bravo except for braking and resetting torque. So I don't know how you want to do it. If you want to have Chris braking torque and Bob behind with the PGT resetting.
The PGT is tethered to Chris.
While we're talking, let me do H1. H1 torque is broken on battery 3. I'm set on alpha 7 clockwise 2 on H1.
And Chris, we're looking for alpha 6 clockwise 2.
Oh, thanks for the reminder. Alpha 6 clockwise 2. Firm set. I have the PGT, so 4 turns, green torquing light 8.3 torque.
Copy, 8.3, green light.
What do you think, Bob?
Want to do 4 next? Which ones have you done?
Just H1 on 3, so I got to do H2 on 3 here.
Okay.
And then I can, come down towards you. Put up a good fight. H2 torque broken.
Copy, H2. And again, looking for
Clockwise 2.
good settings.
Now in the transition from my task, the PGT went from alpha to Bravo. I just torqued it at Bravo 6.
Copy, Chris. So for H2,
So I'll break torque again.
okay.
I don't know how that happened. Alpha 6, clockwise 2, confirmed.
Copy.
There we go. 0.1 turns, 8.2 foot-pounds green torquing light, H2, battery 3.
Okay, copy. Battery 3 complete. And as you both work together on the remaining batteries, we'll need you to break torque on H1 and H2, and then reset torque H2, H1.
okay?
Copy.
Copy.
No.
Like a low in the envelope kind of thing.
Yeah. Sure that this is more efficient than just since we don't have a scoop on H1 of battery 4. Any thoughts? Just we're not looking for a specific.
Yeah, the tape line won't be flush.
Torque is broke on H1.
And Bob, can you confirm you're on battery 4 right now?
Correct. Battery 4.
Copy, thanks.
It's lined up. Doesn't want to go.
It's a good one. It's on there pretty good.
Yeah, the same with battery 3. These batteries, they like their home.
The torque is broke on H2.
Copy, H2 torque broken. And Chris, you can drive H2, Alpha 6 clockwise 2.
Bob will get it.
Copy.
6. Clockwise 2 on H2.
Concur.
Green light, 2.2 on the torque. Like a quarter turn.
Copy. And H1, same settings, Alpha 6 clockwise 2.
Copy. Remember, I've got your PGT.
Yeah, trying not to go too far. Here's H1, battery 1.
Copy, H1 battery 1.
H2 battery 1. Broken.
Copy, H2 battery 1 torque broken.
Here comes the PGT back to you.
Got it. And ready on H2 battery 1 for torquing.
Okay, Alpha 6 clockwise 2 for H2 battery 1.
Alpha 6 clockwise 2 battery 1 H2.
Good settings, Chris. And Bob, when you get a chance, we didn't catch the torque on battery 4 H1.
With a green light, and I believe it was 8.2.
Copy.
8.2 also on H2 battery 1.
Copy 8.2, and for H1, looking for Alpha 6 clockwise 2 again.
Alpha 6 clockwise 2. Green torque 8.5 pounds.
Copy, Chris, and you are at 3 hours in the EVA, limited consumable of Medox on Chris at 7 hours, and you're 30 minutes ahead.
Copy.
Hey, Chris, it just doesn't seem to make sense to be on the other side of your body to have you pass me the ratchet wrench and then pass me the PGT.
Yeah.
And you're right there.
Agreed.
3 hours into today's spacewalk, Cassidy and Behnken outfitted the 1B power channel with the final lithium-ion battery, all 3 batteries up and running, and storing power on that one channel. Now getting some prep work ready for spacewalks later this month to complete the 3B channel. They've set some of the portable foot restraints in locations that make it a little bit easier and will make the work to begin later this month a little bit faster. They've installed some gap spanners and handling aids, and now they're going through and breaking the torque on all the batteries and resetting it with the pistol grip tool.
H2 battery 2. Torque broken.
Copy.
H2s are in, they're pretty solid.
And looking for Alpha 6 clockwise 2.
Clockwise to H2. Green torque 8.3 foot-pounds, H2.
Copy 8.3, same settings for H1.
8.3 foot-pounds, green torque light. Battery 2 complete.
Copy 8.3, battery 2 is complete. You've got batteries 5 and 6 remaining.
Radiator down there.
Thanks. Twisted around, I thought I was on the other side, and then I saw the crew lock bag. Right when you said, watch the radiator.
Yeah, sorry I didn't go up there. I should be on top of your tether now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that rotate the buckle 180 thing lasts for maybe one grab.
One check to 180 degrees.
Yeah, right.
Obviously.
Let's see, I need my friend the ratchet wrench. Here you go. Okay. I believe this is battery 5. Bob, if you'll double check my orientation.
Yep, I agree, that's battery 5.
H1 torque broken.
Copy.
So we're going to be doing another screw-lock bag inventory.
We will not need another inventory, Bob.
H2 torque broken.
Copy H2, battery 5.
Alpha 6 clockwise 2. Confirmed.
Good settings for H2.
Green torquing light at 8.3 foot-pounds.
Copy 8.3.
Green torque 8.4 foot-pounds.
Copy 8.4.
5 or 4, yeah, 8.4.
Copy, and battery 6 is the only remaining one. Once torque is broken, Bob, you can take the 6-inch wobble socket and install it on your PGT.
Battery 6, H1. Broken.
Copy.
Battery 6, H2. Broken. Bob, the wrench is coming to you.
Okay, I'm ready.
Ready?
Ready.
Alpha 6, clockwise 2. I'm on H2.
Copy.
Point 4 foot-pounds, green torquing light.
Copy, and Alpha 6 clockwise 2 for H1.
Copy that, H1. Alpha 6, clockwise 2. Green torque 8.2.
Copy 8.2, and with that, you're complete with the batteries. And Chris, you can stow that PGT and translate back towards your green hook on handrail 2021.
Okay, copy.
And Chris, you'll also want to pick up the GoPro.
Roger that. All right, before Before I leave, Jasmine, just give us a little mini tag up here. What time are we at?
Yeah, so we're at 3:10 right now. And we'll be moving on. Chris, you'll be moving on to routing the power cable. Bob will be moving on to the H fixture release, and you're about 35 minutes ahead.
Right. And Bob, I'm going to head out. If you need anything before I go?
Nope, I think I'm good. Thank you.
And Jasmine, I'm going to follow my tether back to the an old APFR area and then go inboard from there.
Copy, and Chris, you'll pick up your green hook at handrail 2021.
All right, copy that.
And Bob, we think we see the 6-inch on your PGT. Can you just confirm a good pull test?
Get the 6 inches on the PGT, and I can confirm a good pull test.
Copy. With that, you can stow the ratchet wrench in the crew lock bag and then configure it with the doors against structure.
Copy.
This is Mission Control Houston. You're hearing that the prep work on the 3B power channel on the starboard 6 truss is now complete. Cassidy and Behnken working together to install gap spanners or translation or movement aids, making it a little easier for them to move around the work site later this month. They've broken and reset the torque on the batteries, making it now a little bit more predictable for the removal and installation of the new batteries for when they work on that side of the starboard 6 truss. And they have foot restraints in the new worksite positions and ready to go. Now Cassidy and Behnken will split up and do 2 separate duties. Cassidy will go to the starboard 3 truss and route a power cable. And Behnken will remove something called an H fixture in preparation for some future power system upgrades.
Okay, Bob. Out of here.
Okay.
See ya.
See ya.
And Bob, for your essay, we've lost your WVS again. If you could cycle the switch again.
Going for my green hook.
Copy, Chris. And Bob, we do have your WVS back. Thanks.
Green hook secured to the red Berkham reel.
Copy, Chris. We'll take a glove, half, and gauntlet check.
Dry, gauntlets in place. Gloves, no change.
Copy, Chris. With that, you can translate to the port SETA cart to retrieve the S3 boom power cable bundle.
Copy. The doors are towards structure.
Copy, Bob. With that, you can head back to your green hook.
Copy.
Aí galera, eu vou dar uma parada aqui. E não tá tendo muita visualização isso aqui também, tá meio chato, até eu tô ficando entediado com isso aqui já. E quando eles forem entrar pra nave aí eu volto, ou senão a gente vê um próximo lançamento aí, a gente coloca aí, beleza? Quem assistiu aí, obrigado,